Stop wasting time scrolling through the instruction tree. Whether you need a simple pulse or a complex retentive delay, you only really need to master 4 blocks. I'm going to show you a logic that works for 99% of automation projects, starting with the one timer everyone thinks they understand but usually gets wrong. In this video we're gonna go through the 4 different timers: TP, generate pulse. We go over TONR, generate on delay timers, and we go over generate off delay timers, and then we finish the video with the time accumulator. Let's jump to our programming environment. So before we start with our programming environment, I want to explain here what I have done. I have in my hardware, I have prepared the I0.0 for one of my push buttons. I have here 2 push buttons. I have prepared 2 push buttons to make some logic. So I0.0 is for one push button, and I1.1 is for the other push button. If you haven't watched our video about the wiring diagram of real PLC and how to connect it, then make sure to watch it. I'll put the link in the description. Now let's go to our programming environment. We open the main OB. Under the instructions, we have time operations. So here we have generate pulse, you can see here. We have generate on, delay and off delay, and time accumulator. So let's go and start with the first one. But before we start, I just create the tags so that we don't go back and forth. So for I0.0, I have created the start, which is here. And the reset button is my second push button. It's this one, so it should be I1.1, not 0.1, sorry. I1.1. And for the LED, Q0.0, for example. Let's go start. We start with the start button, let's say. So we drag and drop that generate pulse, which is the first one. And every time, pay attention that when you drag and drop a timer, it creates its own data block. So single instance, it's called. Here you can name it as you want, but for now I'll just leave it how it is. You press OK, and what it is under system blocks, it will create a data block. This is like a memory. It will save all the memory of this timer, like how much time has elapsed, how much is the preset time, and all the information is stored inside this DB. We will go through the data blocks in later videos, but for now, just know that when you call a timer, it will generate a DB for you. So here, let's say it is, let's say 4 seconds. And here, pay attention that when in the preset time, when you press 4, it will automatically make it 4 milliseconds. So this is one mistake that most of the beginners do. If you want 4 seconds, you have to write 4 seconds, like this, for example. Let's download it. So our first project is downloaded into our hardware. So what does the generate pulse do exactly? Let's show it. So here in the Siemens help manual, you can go into the instruction that you want. You can just hover over it, stay a little bit, and you press here. Here you have the information regarding this timer, what it does, how it is used. And here for the generate pulse, here you can see the in is the input, PT is the preset time, Q is the output. Here you have here you have a table with all the information regarding this timer. And the important is for us here, let's have a look in the input in this diagram. When you press the input, when you press the button, the preset time starts counting. It will start, and at the same time, it will turn on the output. And even if your input is still on, let's say here the preset time is 4 seconds, and here you have 6 seconds. You hold the button for 6 seconds. The output will be on only for 4 seconds that you put with the preset time. And in the second scenario, when you press the start button, like for 2 seconds, and then for 1 second, it will still start from the first pulse and stay on until preset time. And even if you hold it longer, it is the same. And this one is the elapsed time. Let's go demonstrate it. So I have connected. I hope you can see it, guys. I've connected my push button, this one, to I0.0, which is the start button in our case. Let's go and press this one. Oh, I'm sorry. Here I didn't assign the output. We wanted Q0.0. So now again. So yeah, we press the button, and here you see it will stay on for 4 seconds. And now even if we press and hold it, the upper light is the input. You see the input is on, but the output is still off. It turns off. And here you can also see in the TIA Portal that when I press it, here we have a time count. It counts like 2 seconds, 3, and then 4. It turns off. So this one is just, it generates a pulse, right? If you want some pulse for 2 seconds, for 3 seconds, this is the block that you use. Let's jump into the time on delay. Instead of this one, I'll just copy the time on. So you see, it will always create a data block. And if you go here, you will see this data block. For the preset time, let's say 5 seconds. In the meantime, let's go and explain what the time on delay is. Here you will see all the table with the information, and this is the important part, the diagram. So what it does is when you press the start button, it will not turn on the output immediately. It's called on delay, right? So it delays the output by the preset time. So in our case, it's 5 seconds. When you press the button and it is on for the 5 seconds in our case, then the output turns on and stays on until you let go, until the start button is gone in this case. But if you press the start button, if you press the input for less than the preset time, it will not turn on the output. Right? Let's go and demonstrate it. Maybe let's do it like for 3 seconds. So let it be 5 seconds. It's okay. Let's go and demonstrate it. So I press, if you have a look at TIA Portal, I press the button, it starts counting. If I let it go, the output does not turn on. But if I hold it for 5 seconds, after 5 seconds, you see the output is on. And when I let it go, the output turns off. So this is on delay timer. And what is the off delay timer? It's vice versa. I delete this one. I take the off delay. Not here, but here. So the off delay timer is when you press the start button, when you press when you give the input, it will immediately turn on the output, and when the input turns off, then it will keep the output for the preset. So basically when you press the input, the output immediately turns on, and when the input turns off, it will delay the output by preset time. In our case, let's make it like 3 seconds or something. And if you, in the meantime, before, in this case, in the second scenario, when the input is on, and this, after 1 second, you press the input again. And our preset time is 2 seconds, let's say. So the input is off less than the preset time, so the output will stay on continuously until the input is off for the preset time. Let's go demonstrate it. Yeah, let's make it 3 seconds. Download it. load. So when I give the input, and if I give just a pulse, if I press it one time, it will stay on for 3 seconds and turns off. If I press one time and after 1 second press another time, it will reset and continue. Like if I press every 2 seconds one more time, it will stay on until the input is not pressed for 3 seconds, right? And if I press and hold it, it will stay on until when I let it go. If you look in the TIA portal, the timer is not counting. When I let it go, it starts counting for 3 seconds and it turns off the output. So this was for the off delay timer. And the last but not least, we have the time accumulator. This is also interesting. Drag and drop. So here we have the input, we have a reset, and we have the preset time. So this is different than the other ones by only this input. We have a reset, extra input here for this accumulator. Let's go and show the diagram how it works. So this accumulates the time, right? Every time you press the input, it will remember how many seconds it was pressed, and it will accumulate it until it reaches the preset time. Let's say your preset time is 5 seconds and each of this pushing is 2 seconds, let's say. Here you press the input for 2 seconds, it will go up, the elapsed time will go up for 2 seconds, and here when it's off, it will still remember that it was 2 seconds. And when you press it again, it will again go 2 seconds. And when the input is off, it will still stay there. And when you press it and it goes like to 5 seconds, then the output turns on. The output turns on and stays on until you reset it, until you press the reset button. Let's go and demonstrate. In this case, let's say preset time is 5 seconds. And for the reset, we have prepared another tag here, right? Reset. I write reset, and this reset is our second push button. This one is start, this one is the reset. Let's go download. And let's go demonstrate. Now here is our output, right? In this one here. So I press it. You have a look at the TIA portal also. Here it will show how many seconds the input is on. So I press it, for example, let's say almost 1 second. I press it again. I press it, I can hold it for, let's say, 2 seconds. You see that at 3 seconds, it is remembering. Every time I press, it will count up how many seconds it was pressed, but our output is not on yet, right? Like when this time reaches 5 seconds, then our output will turn on. So let's press and make it 5 seconds, and you see our output is on. Here it's on. It stays on until we press the reset. You see, when I press reset, then it turns off. Now let's go and create a small logic to blink the LED. So I prepared the logic here. Let's see how the logic works. When we press the start button, we turn on the LED, we set it, and in our case, the start button is a push button, right? It just gives a pulse. That's why we set the LED, and then we say, okay, if the LED is on for 1 second, then reset the LED, turn it off, and we set a memory bit, like you can think of it like latching signal. So we set a memory bit, and here in the second timer, we say the memory bit, if this one is on for 1 second, then reset it, and also turn on this tag 2, which is this one here, is just gives a pulse to set the LED again. So basically when you press the start, the LED stays on. When 1 second is passed, then it turns off the LED. And here we say, okay, if this one is off for 1 second, then turn on this tag, which turns on the LED again. Let's go and demonstrate it. We press the button and you can see that it is blinking every 1 second.